We wanted to play something cute, fun, and colorful for date night this week, and it seemed like Slime Rancher was the obvious pick. I mean, how can bouncing slimes not make you happy? The thing is, for all the joy they bring, there's plenty of stress that comes along with it. But if you can manage to keep them from misbehaving, then you're in for a bubbly evening of ranching slimes on date night. This is yet another game that started off with the two of us taking turns and ended with me adding it to my Steam library. Oh my god, I just glitched out of the world. At this point, I think it's safe to say any game that has cats, pink, farming, or some combination of the three are bound to be keepers for me. Bubbles! I don't know why I put off giving Slime Rancher a try for so long, but I probably let my preconceived notions about breeding slimes get in the way of giving this a shot. It turns out that this game is what I had hoped the slime hutch would be in Stardew Valley.
Look at all these slimes!
Look at all the slimes!
This is what I wanted Slime Ranching into Stardew to be.
Yes. I know, in Stardew, slimes are like my nemesis, but here
I will become a programmer and create a game just to make the Slime Rancher that I wanted Stardew to be.
Oh my gosh.
It'll be like Stardew, but Slime Ranching will be the main thing, and then there will be like a little farm plot you can buy in the end game that produces next to no money. Do you think slimes like carrots? Oh my god.
Originally, we picked out Slime Rancher because I wanted a game a little more my speed this week. As expected, I did like it, but what I didn't expect was how much he loved it.
Barney, I'm having the time of my life.
The thing about him in games like this is that he'll very quickly fall down the gameplay loop rabbit hole. His stream of conscious runs faster than the game will let him move, and a lot of times I like to listen more than I talk. It's like his mouth is hooked up directly to his brain, and you never know what's gonna come out.
I'm gonna overflow this slime pen. PETA's gonna have a field day with me. Look at this. Look at this!
Wow.
Dinner time!
Whoop,
Do they like it? Oh, they like it! Look at this!
They're so happy. With that being said, it's my job to make sure we stay on course, because otherwise we end up committing several ethical violations. In terms of our slime care, it's me that's making sure they get the upgrades they need and are comfortable. You definitely wouldn't see a solar shield on the Nocturnal One's pen if I wasn't calling the shots from over his shoulder. It's not like he goes out of his way to be inhumane, but I think he just forgets about how the slimes feel when the money starts rolling in.
Sell, sell, sell. It's like everything's going down, just sell.
Originally, we weren't really aware of how ranching worked and tried to stockpile as many slimes as we could. We jammed something like 50 or so pink slimes into a single shoebox corral with no upgrades. On top of that, we actually had the audacity to be surprised when they started escaping out the top. This isn't a free-range ranch, so we couldn't have that.
That slime is so set on running away.
Oh my god.
You are a mischievous little slime. There you go.
Yeah, that's the little troublemaker slime.
That's the Noki slime.
100%. After rounding up the loose slimes, we opted to just carry them around in our gun until we could afford a bigger pen. Needless to say, I'm not sure if you'd consider these plorts ethical. Because of this, collecting the resources after feeding our slimes wasn't always a clean job. It's one thing to sit and laugh at the slimes as they dogpile each other and create stacks to escape, but it's a whole other animal when you step into the belly of the beast to try and claim your loot. You have to go in there.
Shit, I don't want it. I want the
Okay, just suck it all up. Then you can always
then
release
spit
the
the slimes back out.
Do you think the slimes like being sucked up? The reality is, we just have to accept that sucking up one plort is going to result in sucking up about 15 pink slimes along with it. The price of freedom is steep. Actually, it's about 500 new bucks for the auto collector, so it's not that high. Too bad we're stingy and would rather have a jetpack instead.
But first things first, I need to upgrade my gun before I go to the new area, because not being able to carry water made that tar situation a little dicey.
Right.
So, but a jetpack would be so cool. I bought a jetpack tank.
Corralling the slimes turned out to be a lot bigger of an undertaking than either of us were prepared for. These little guys aren't just cute, they're cute and escape artists. We got stuck in a loop of constantly running around trying to recollect all our slimes because they just kept finding ways out of the pen. We had to upgrade the walls to be higher, and then we added a net on top to catch the flyers. It added up pretty quickly though, because we had to do it for like every single pen.
I just purchased a lab for 10K. Behold, slime science.
It seems like every time the pink ones break free, they go straight for our chicken coop. Not only did we crack down on making our ranch a chicken-friendly zone, but we always went out of our way to scoop up little chicks in the wild and tried to give them a better home.
Don't let that little guy... We got him.
He was going for it.
He was in dangerous territory, that little chick.
He was. Say what you want about the circle of life, but I just can't sit back and let them get gobbled. How can something so cute eat something else so cute?
No! Did you see what happened?
Yeah, a giant slime got
everything.
in there and ate all the chickens.
Okay, we have too many pink slimes.
Of all the different slimes, my personal favorite are the kitty ones. Ironically, they eat meat, which means we need to feed them chickens. Setting up a coop to raise hens wasn't necessarily hard to do, but then there's the dilemma of thinking they're too cute to feed to the slimes. Progress took a bit of a hit thanks to this.
I'm trying to get this goddamn big cat to give me a key, and he's eating so many chickens.
If you look at what we managed to accomplish on our first evening ranching slimes, I think it all boils down to fighting a war on behalf of chickens everywhere. There's so...
We need to like grow chickens faster.
Yeah, so let's do the grass.
Let's see. Spring grass produce eggs twice as fast. Good.
That sounds like no brainer.
Vitamizer.
They grow
Healthy
faster.
hens and roosters twice as fast. Good. Okay, that's everything then.
The compromise we came up with was to breed the kitty slimes with one of the other kinds so we could feed them fruits and veggies and spare the hens.
And then I'm gonna go, you become a cat.
Okay.
And you become a cat. And then hold still, would you? Eat this. Eat that. Come on, man.
The combo ones are a lot more profitable too since they give you double yield when fed.
In that case, we're gonna just turn a bunch of them into this, right? Like, what do we have to lose?
The only danger is that feeding them a third kind of slime plort turns them into tar. Watching our adorable slimes try to cannibalize each other before eating us wasn't what I had in mind when I said I wanted a chill evening.
On down there. He's eating him! Oh no! Cat, no! Ugh.
Oh my god, yeah, throw them all.
I'm getting rid of him.
Yeah, get rid of them.
You guys are all evildoers.
In all the chaos of rounding up the stray slimes, it was to be expected that we'd accidentally shoot the wrong one into a pen eventually. It's not usually the end of the world, so long as we can manage to suck it back up again. But if it's a plort, it can sometimes be disastrous. Aside from ruining the purity of our slimes, we also run the risk of causing another tar outbreak.
I'm almost out of water.
The slimes have feelings too. It may be easy to look at them and just treat them as little vacuumable balls of joy, but that face tells us they're getting hungry. There are other things that make them upset, but more often than not, it's just because they want food. As much as we want to pretend that they aren't hungry and are just being dramatic, the writing's on the wall. He should know that face well, since it's the same one I make when I'm hungry.
What do you guys like? Maybe they like chickens.
Yeah, because they're cats.
What are you doing in here, man? I told you to stay away from my chicken coop.
Depending on their moods, the slimes will do different things. Agitated slimes are probably the ones we wrestle with the most, since that's usually when they try and break loose. It seems like what would always happen was we'd go out on an adventure to find new stuff, and every time we came home, everyone but us was pissed off.
So our pink slime, everyone's mad basically. We need to make them
we have
happy.
to make sure that.
So what do you do to keep them happy?
I think you feed them. It's so nice to come home, feeling triumphant after an outing, only to find an angry mob of jelly waiting with open mouths.
You know what, you guys can have some too. The pink slimes have been kind of neglected.
Yeah. What we didn't realize at first was that the slimes have favorite foods. They all have preferences for fruit, vegetables, and meat, but on top of that, each slime has a favorite one to eat. We went into the game completely blind, so we pretty much would just throw things at the slimes and see if they'd eat it or not.
So do you guys like pogo fruit? No. Let's find a phosphor slime and do a test. Look at how many plorts there are.
We came up with our own ridiculous rationale for why they were eating what they were eating, but only afterwards did we notice that it literally tells you what the slime likes in the top right corner.
You know what? I bet the mine ones like the carrots because they grow in the ground.
The prices of the plorts actually fluctuate up and down like a stock market. You don't ever buy any, but if you're smart, you'll sit on them and wait to sell when they're high.
Yeah, they're down. The other ones are up though.
Oh.
That's what it is. So we need to figure out what the hell these phosphor ones and these stone ones like to eat.
Yeah. We probably don't want to get into day trading because every time we'd set up production for one that was up, it would go back down.
I mean, everything is just down. We're not really in a position to be playing the stock market yet, though.
No sooner had we collected our first harvest, and then they'd already have crashed.
Wow, they're only selling for 17 now.
Waiting would be the way to go when that happens, but man are we impatient. We're already up past our bedtime, and the only thing keeping us going is purchasing shiny new things for our slimes.
Turney, I don't know if you're aware, but we have been playing for 3 hours.
Holy shit. Okay, time for bed.
It's almost midnight.
Holy shit.
I thought we were gonna play for 30 minutes. I don't really know what happened.
I think fun happened.
I have mint mangoes though.
Ooh, I don't. Doing quests for people ended up being the key to pushing forward in the game's progression. The funny thing is, we probably would have been completely content breeding pink slimes until the end of time if we hadn't been given better food from these quest rewards. As soon as they started spitting out double yields, we realized that there was untapped potential here. Did everybody give like 2 for this? Is this better than carrots? We've got 12 of them. The danger in raising the more expensive slimes is that they're aggressive. They can explode and are sharp and all around need to be handled with care.
Whoa, guys. Can we try to refrain from exploding for like 5 minutes?
We learned the hard way that you shouldn't waltz into a pen filled with harmful slimes.
So what that tells me, other than the fact that I am currently suffering from radiation poisoning.
You'd think that would be common sense, but they look a lot less dangerous than they actually are.
Maybe there's more carrots out. What are you guys? Those look so cool. A rad slime. Alright. They eat what? What do rad slimes eat? They eat veggies? Okay, you know what? We're not gonna raise stone explosive slimes. We're gonna raise incredibly dangerous rad ones.
By the end of an evening, it's only natural that we start playing sloppy. There are far too many ways to screw what we've built, and with him falling asleep at the wheel, it's just a matter of time. The irony of dying at the hands of the very things we work to create is not lost on us, but at the very least, we can die happy knowing the chickens are safe.
Well, at least the chickens are safe.